Welcome back, everyone. I'm so pleased that you're enjoying your lunch here at the State of the City today and enjoying fellowship with your fellow citizens. My name is Betsy Gardner-Eckbert. I'm the President and CEO of the Winter Park Chamber of Commerce. And whether you're here with us at this impressive new event center, how about a round of applause for our city team that brought this to life? Or you're joining us live on Orange TV. I hope you're enjoying the 2022 State of the City Luncheon. We want to thank our partners at Orange TV. We're delighted that you can help us share this event with so many members of our community. And for those of you who would like to access it later, it will be on the Orange TV website. It's also going to be on the Winter Park Chamber of Commerce Facebook page. Our chamber's impact is greatest when we're partnered with community trustees, like the ones who've chosen to sponsor today's events. And we are grateful to our partners at Advent Health for presenting today's luncheon. At this time, I'd like to welcome my great friend and colleague, Justin Bermely, CEO of Advent Health, to come up and share a few words.
Good afternoon. I'm going to raise this up because I think only the Reverend was as tall that you didn't, yeah. So I was watching how you did it. Good to see everybody. This event center is pretty amazing, but it is definitely wider than I'm used to, so I want to make sure I capture it now. I get to see everybody. But thank you for having us, and just thank you for attending. On behalf of Advent Health, I just want to thank you, the Winter Park community, for your continuous support of our team, of our hospital, and our mission. I especially want to recognize the Winter Park Chamber, who last year, I know there's a lot of people involved, but who last year helped drive donations of over 5,000 meals for our team at the hospital. That's equivalent, yeah, absolutely. Thank you. As I rounded, I would always say, you know, I can't give you guys rest. I'm not clinical, so I certainly can't help you with IVs and things, but I can certainly try to feed you. And as you know, food is medicine, and it certainly was helpful. I want to thank my team who's here, some of my team, who have really helped get through the past 2 years, been my rock. Someone in particular that's here today as well, who helped manage the local supply chain, who helped make sure our team had PPE when we needed it most, and as actually a current participant on Leadership Winter Park. And I'm calling her out because Loren Lunsford, our finance director, it's her birthday today. And I'm a big advocate of telling people to take your day off. You're guaranteed 1 day a year to celebrate yourself, and that's your birthday. And she chose to be here with us, so that's pretty cool. So since it's the event center, I'm going to break it in, and I'm going to say, on the count of 3, can you guys help me say happy birthday, Loren? You cool with that? All right, 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday, Loren. She's going to kill me later. As you know, the last 2 years have been very difficult, and for everybody. Nobody is immune to the suffering that has happened. But through the support of our first responders, our local businesses, local government, and leaders, as all of you are leaders, have been so gracious and helpful and supportive to our team. The list of support is long, and we remain grateful. I also want to make sure I mention the Winter Park Library team, who that partnership's been amazing, beautiful buildings here. And then the Winter Park Health Foundation, my friends, sitting right there. There they are. See, the room is wide. This is the amazing Center for Health and Well-Being, certainly part of that list of contribution. I grew up around hospitals, and healthcare has always been a big part of my life. It's always inspired me, no more so than the past 2 years. Our doctors and nurses are some of the most remarkable people I've ever met because they say yes each and every day because healing others and saving lives is more important than their own personal comfort in many times. Folks have come to us seeking wholeness. Have we always gotten it right? Not always. But we remain focused on providing every visit to be purposeful and meaningful and mission-driven of extending the healing ministry of Christ. As a hospital, we are steadfast in providing whole person care for our team as well. And I want to share some of those. Innovative team member promises have started to assist in workforce stabilization and retention. We are on an intentional journey in diversity, equity, and inclusion processes. We're studying burnout, stress-related work for our clinicians and our team, and have brought on both a wellness coach and mental health consultant at Winter Park just specifically for one purpose, and that is to support our team. Taking care of our team is a priority, and Advent Health remains committed. So in closing, in all honesty, public health is all of our responsibilities. If needed, I would urge everyone to not delay their care, keep that doctor's appointments, be proactive with your spouse, maybe schedule that own screening you've been putting off. I'm in that bucket as well, because our facilities are safe, and we are all blessed to have so much good healthcare options right here in Central Florida. Believe me. 2022 is a year of hope, and let's collectively make that every day count. Thank you very much, guys.
I like how we have the microphone height wars every year between Justin and me. There couldn't be a bigger difference in height. Thank you so much to Advent Health. And we want to recognize our supporting sponsors as well, Lowndes Law, MSL CPAs and Advisors, and the Mayflower at Winter Park. Our participating sponsor is Valencia College, and our in-kind sponsors include Angela Katzer Events, who did our flowers and centerpieces, Arthur's Catering, who are buzzing around here invisibly, but many of you know Mark Leggett, who's a community champion, and we are so grateful to Mark and his team for what we know is going to be a memorable lunch today. Jen Adams, who's our photographer today, and Office Depot. We greatly appreciate your partnership. You know, the mayor's going to speak in a moment about where we are, the ground truth of Winter Park, and there's a lot to be very proud of, especially as we've emerged from the pandemic. Many of you know that we embarked in October on a project with purpose, and that's the Winter Park Prosperity Scorecard. This project is important because COVID and the pandemic exposed fault lines in our community, inequities that as a child of Winter Park, I never knew existed. And if I didn't know they existed, and I'm a community leader, I wondered who else didn't know they existed. And so yes, we've had this unbroken run of prosperity leading up into the time where we are now. Commercial real estate and residential real estate values continue to soar, and our reserve coffers are at a high level. Our occupancy rates led the region. And we also learned during COVID that our little tiny economy is actually not so tiny. It's a $3 billion annualized economy, and when we shut down for just a moment in 2020, we lost over $800 million of GDP. So we started thinking about these things as COVID presented challenges to us, and we started thinking about a framework for the way forward. And we started thinking about how we could approach that with a triple bottom line benefit that included people and planet in that prosperity metric. Hundreds of our community members have taken our scorecard survey. There's some of you that are probably sick to death of me asking you to take our scorecard survey, and I'm grateful to those of you who took the time to do it. We've been asking you your opinions since October, and I'm pleased to share with you today some of the results of that, and then we'll be rolling out our balanced scorecard in April so that we can try to create a framework for a more prosperous way forward for Winter Park. And before I share some of this with you, I do want to recognize David Odahowski and the Edith Bush Charitable Foundation who funded this important piece of work. Would you join me in a round of applause? So just briefly, I want to share with you to start with who our partners were in this. We're grateful to the City of Winter Park, of course, our mayor, Honorable Phil Anderson, who could not have been more open to receiving this as an idea and a great thought partner for me in the creation of some of the questions we looked at. We want to thank Rollins College, who furnished us brain power from faculty and students who helped us analyze the data. Of course, Edith Bush Charitable Foundation, and then we hired an extremely talented data analyst from J. Zurich Analytic Insights. So those were some of our key partners. And we, with intention, went out and surveyed as far as we could get in the community. We had a large audience through the chamber, but we with intention went way beyond that audience. We asked for participants through the City of Winter Park, our Park Avenue merchants, local schools and PTAs, community organizations. I've been to as many Rotary clubs as I can imagine going to and presenting this survey, places of worship, and neighborhood communities. So we worked with intention to try to get as diverse a sample as we could. And in the next shot, the next slide, I'll show you that we actually achieved the target of showing a response that mirrored Winter Park's actual ethnic makeup as well. So you can see that we hit bang on the target, actually, the distribution of ethnicities across Winter Park and our response rate. On the age side, there was a little bit of variance there, but I was really pleased that between 18 and 76 plus, we had distributions of responses that were robust across that spectrum. The interesting thing in terms of the demographics of survey participants is how long their stakeholding interest has lasted in terms of how much they have engaged with Winter Park. Over half of them are natives or long-term residents. Some are other, which means they have a child that goes to school here. They might worship here. They might work here. And then there were others that were non-residents. We also had a range of industries that mirror the top industries that we see represented in our local economy. So starting with professional services and down to nonprofits, this is what we know aligns demographically with our own industry sectors as well. So we asked you all what's important. And we asked you how we could measure community well-being, and we could start tracking the effect of measuring community well-being to try to create a more well community. Justin talked about what he's doing in his setting, but we thought about how we could support our community becoming more well as we moved out of the pandemic, and not just physically, but mentally as well. And we wanted to really make sure that we weren't leaving people behind as we started thinking about well-being, and we wanted to make sure that basic needs were being met, because what exposed itself during the pandemic is some of those needs were not being met. Some of you may know that over 41% of students at Winter Park High School have food insecurity. And we know that those numbers are even higher at some of our Winter Park elementary schools. And what's interesting is in this survey participant sample that we got, children in poverty was the #1 well-being metric that people asked us to start evaluating. So you can count on the Winter Park Chamber to start reporting out how we're doing in terms of moving that number from 41% to a lot lower. Voter turnout is another community well-being metric that you all rated highly. Inclusive practices and diversity in our decision-making as a community. We asked you what are key opportunity areas for the City of Winter Park, and affordable housing topped the list. The diversity of our workforce was #2, and the diversity of our economy. You asked for our businesses to be more diverse in what they do. And office space is something else that people reported as a key opportunity. And we asked you what set of businesses you'd like to see coming to Winter Park. And we heard from you that your top answers were retail, restaurants, IT, professional services, hotels, and healthcare. So then we asked people, what were the key things that you're really focused on? And this is not a surprise to me, because in the 20 years I've been involved in civic life here, traffic tops the list, and believe me, it's still on top, right? So we know that, and I'm really grateful to the City of Winter Park leadership for understanding this and actually making an allocation of resources to hire somebody completely focused on this issue. We can confirm that this is still important and needs our attention. Pandemic readiness is something that we scored pretty well on, but also there's areas where we can become even more ready. And then sustainability was not an issue that there was clear consensus on. How important is it and what to do about it? There was some polarization with respect to that. So we're going to be sharing with you the fully completed scorecard. We'll launch it in April. We hope that you'll get the Chamber newsletter and come to Good Morning Winter Park, which is a free program at the Chamber that will be live or on our Facebook page, so that we can reveal the scorecard, which is going to be driven by these metrics that we just talked about today, and really embedded in it is going to be an ESG framework. Many of you are familiar with ESG, which stands for environmental, social, and governance. And so that's really going to be focused on that triple bottom line benefit of people, planet, and prosperity. With your input, we'll be focused on business sufficiency, resiliency, community character, the issues and opportunities, and the sustainability metrics that we talked about. So we're really grateful to you for your help in getting us to this place of understanding what matters and trying to track and measure how we can become an even more fully prosperous community in the future. So I want to thank all of you who assisted in getting us to this point, and we're looking forward to creating a set of accountability tools to help Winter Park become the best version of itself. I'd now at this point like to invite our board chair, Michelle Strenth, back to the stage.
Thank you, Betsy. And I don't know about you guys, but I look forward to learning more over the near future. So, this annual event goes to show the great tradition of collaboration and partnership that exists between the City of Winter Park and the Winter Park Chamber of Commerce. Today, we will feature Winter Park Mayor Phil Anderson's annual State of the City address and the presentation of the city's Employee of the Year awards. It's now my pleasure to introduce our Winter Park City Manager, Randy Knight. Mr. Knight has served, as he comes up, I'll tell you, Mr. Knight has served as City Manager since 2007. As you know, prior to that, he served as Assistant City Manager for 14 years. He is a genuine hands-on manager that humbly leads a staff of approximately 500 full-time employees with integrity. As a CPA, Mr. Knight has a discerning eye to manage an approximately $171 million budget to effectively ensure the city provides the highest quality of services for its residents, businesses, and guests. So please welcome Mr. Randy Knight.
Good afternoon. Today we will recognize 3 of the city's most outstanding employees as we announce our Employee of the Year, our Firefighter of the Year, and our Police Officer of the Year. I'd like to first thank our mayor and commissioners for their support of the employees, and to the Chamber of Commerce for allowing us this opportunity every year to present these awards. And I also want to thank all of the city employees for making Winter Park the best place to live, work, and play in Central Florida. Again, this year we have partnered with the Orlando Credit Union to present the very top honor that we give our Employee of the Year awards. Orlando Credit Union provides a $500 cash award to each of these. Craig, if you'll keep the envelope open, I'll take the government share as it comes by. With us today is Suzanne Weinstein, President and CEO of the Orlando Credit Union. If you'd please stand and let us thank you. Our employees really appreciate all the credit union does to support the employees during the year. At this time, I'd like to ask Josh Nye to come forward. He's our Urban Forestry Superintendent to present the city's Employee of the Year to Stefano Alvernia. Stefano, come forward.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Commissioners, City Management, thank you for having me. It is an honor to stand before you today to recognize Stefano Alvernia as the City of Winter Park's Employee of the Year for 2021. Before I begin my brief remarks, I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge our Employees of the Year from the Winter Park Police and Fire Departments. Officer Sheree Slaughter and Engineer Erica Hall, thank you for your service to our city. Those of us who enter into the field of arboriculture do so largely because of a genuine interest in and love of trees. I think Stefano will agree with me when I say that at the beginning of a career in urban forestry, you feel you may have landed the sweetest gig in town. You envision yourself peacefully communing with nature, spending time amongst the trees, bringing joy to citizens and neighborhoods throughout the city. Well, the reality ends up being a bit more complicated. It turns out that trees can bring out a broad range of intense emotions in people, not all of which are reminiscent of Julie Andrews in the opening scene of The Sound of Music. To be an effective arborist for this or any other city, you have to begin with an admittedly somewhat naive, yet ultimately necessary enthusiasm for the beauty and mystery of trees. You need that because when the challenges come, when emotions run high and opinions conflict, a city arborist needs to go to that well of belief in their mission in order to find the motivation, the resolve to do the job. Stefano has that belief, and he puts it into action every single day. Since his hiring as arborist in late 2019, Stefano has exhibited exceptional qualities which clearly place him amongst the City of Winter Park's best and brightest. Last year, he went above and beyond, involuntarily spearheading an unforgettable citywide holiday lighting and decoration initiative. Stefano stepped up to tackle a gargantuan task on a short timetable. In doing so, he demonstrated his strong work ethic, organizational and planning skills, professionalism, creativity, and leadership abilities. The result was a truly impressive and beautiful display of holiday spirit. When complimented on his achievement, Stefano invariably deferred credit to coworkers. In addition to all his hard work at the city, Stefano attends the University of Central Florida's Urban and Regional Planning Master's Program on a scholarship from the Florida chapter of the International Society of Arboriculture. While overseeing the holiday decor installation, Stefano started many days at 3 a.m., worked overtime to complete his routine work as city arborist, and then went to class or went home to study at night. His dedication to self-improvement rivals his determination to do his best every day for the City of Winter Park. On the whole, Stefano Alverni is a great asset to our city and its residents. He represents an incoming generation that can help keep our workforce on the forefront of innovation and quality of service. This award is a well-deserved acknowledgement of his accomplishments. Stefano, I know our colleagues will join me in saying how lucky we are to have you. I look forward to our continued work together as stewards of our urban forest. Congratulations, and thank you for all you do for the people and the trees of Winter Park.
Money. Appreciate it. And now Fire Chief Dan Hagedorn will present the Fire Rescue Employee of the Year, Erica Hall. Chief Hagedorn.
Thank you, Randy. I don't know about you, but being an arborist sounds pretty cool all of a sudden. That's not a bad gig, I think. Good afternoon, everyone. It's my privilege to be here with you in front of you today to present our 2021 Firefighter of the Year, Erica Hall. Since joining the department in 2017, she quickly established herself as being a rising star within our department. Her ability to learn quickly and advance her skills was apparent after she attained her paramedic certification within her second year of employment. In 2020, I was proud to promote her to the position of engineer, as she made it for me a very easy decision, as she scored #1 on the test with one of the highest scores possible amongst a very talented group of firefighters. Now, any of the ladies in the group may want to stand and give her an applause, because the ladies won out and she beat all the guys on the list. So. Little girl power there. And guys, it's okay to be a little jealous, because she actually is a daily driver of our beautiful fire engines here in Winter Park. So I'm a little jealous myself. Within her short time here at Winter Park, she's demonstrated her commitment to serve this community and be an example for her peers. While Erica can be described as an outstanding firefighter in the field, she also remains dedicated to promoting life safety education within our city. Her role as a firefighter, a mother, an educator comes through in every event she has within the community, especially with children. It is quite common to receive accolades and heartfelt appreciation from our community partners, customers, and residents following an event that Erica has been involved with. No matter the request, she's always willing to help and give her best effort. Erica sets a high standard for herself, her peers, and delivers the highest level of service for the city and the department. For her commitment to save lives and preserve property in this community, I'm proud to present engineer paramedic Erica Hall as 2021 Firefighter of the Year. There you go. Good. Very cool.
Congratulations. And now Chief Pam Markham will present our Police Officer of the Year, Cherie Slaughter. Chief Markham.
I'm glad that Randy Knight lowered the microphone for me because Dan Hagedorn's a little taller than me, and I'm vertically challenged, so we're trying to get it down here a little bit lower. So today is Officer Cherie Slaughter can be counted on to always inspire others with commendable performance of her duties and to project a positive professional image that others wish to emulate. However, it is her going above and beyond the call of duty in her community policing efforts that best improves the city and the department's image and makes her worth of this recognition. Officer Slaughter has fully embraced the community policing philosophy and has applied it instinctively in her routine patrol duties. She is the department's liaison to the community at Margaret Square, and in that capacity meets regularly with management and residents to discuss their concerns and needs and prioritize initiating positive contacts with juvenile residents. Officer Slaughter is tasked with seeking out opportunities for officers on her squad to engage the community in a positive manner and has included her colleagues to organize events at the Community Center, Hannibal Square, Heritage Center, and the city parks, as well as informal impromptu events such as children's birthday parties. If that wasn't enough, for the past 2 years, she has organized the distribution of gifts on Christmas Day to local children. The packages were donated by citizens. She is quick to seize the opportunity to assist community policing with her outreach efforts, and in doing so leaves a positive image of the department and the city in the minds of those she comes in contact with. Officer Slaughter's community-minded approach to policing applies to her enforcement and crime prevention actions, as well as her proactively addressing issues and concerns prioritized by citizens. For example, she is the department leader in the area of traffic enforcement and is cognizant of the positive impact such efforts take on the safety of those who live, work, and visit the city. She actively patrols her assigned zone in a highly visible manner and prioritizes any requests from citizens and supervisors. During her patrols, Officer Slaughter is quick to identify and engage in suspicious persons and incidents, as she knows that doing so can have a positive effect on preventing and deterring crime. Officer Slaughter regularly receives praise from fellow officers, supervisors, city officials, and most importantly, the citizens that she serves. For all that she does, she is a very worthy recipient of being recognized as the Police Department's Officer of the Year. Please join me in congratulating her for all she does and continues to do for the safety and well-being of the citizens we serve. Thank you. And this is her sergeant, Sergeant Holly, who's going to be giving her some flowers as well.
Thank you.
I don't know about you all, but I'm quite inspired by the award recipients. And for all of those staff at the City of Winter Park who work so hard, let's give them another round of applause. And now it's my honor to welcome our mayor, the mayor of Winter Park, Bill Anderson.
Thank you very much, Michelle. And it's a pleasure being here. I looked out earlier and I thought, holy cow, look at this room. What an amazing group of people in a very small town can make such a difference in this region. So thank you very much for being here and for really making Winter Park a special place. We can go to, it's my pleasure to stand up here and tell you that the state of the city is strong. But the state of the people who live and work here is really stressed. We have had 2 years of really challenges we have never seen before. We've had a pandemic. We've had social issues that have come before us. And frankly, recent international and local events outside of our control are making us stressed. And so while the state of the city is good, in fact, great, those of us who live here, we're feeling it. And so what I wanted to do first, before we get into that, is really give you our thanks. I want to thank our medical community for all that they have done over the last 2 years. And in particular, I want to thank our mental health community, who often doesn't get the credit that they deserve for helping us deal with this kind of stress. I want to thank our first responders, our police and fire, for all that they have done. I want to thank our men and women in uniform who today are faced with decisions we might not have expected a mere few weeks ago. And I want to thank our business community that has gathered here to persevere through a really rocky couple of years, and you have given us so much to escape to and to enjoy, and just thank you so much for making our lives what it is. But I also want to thank our city staff, our commissioners, and the other institutions that give us the parks, the arts, and all of the spiritual experiences that we need right now to heal and to renew and to strengthen. So thank you very much. And while all these events out there, a lot of them are outside of our control, I want to bring us back to one thing that's in our control. We control how we feel about our neighbors and how we invest in our community. And because of that investment, our city, the state of our city, is very, very strong. And the reason we're strong is really in 3 places. We are financially sound. We have made it through the last couple of years with no tax increases. We have offered strong support for our business and the community. And we have executed on priorities that reflect the values of our residents. And if you go to the financially sound, I've mentioned we've persevered through the last few years. There's no tax increase. We have the highest reserves in the city's history, $17 million not touched during this recession. Every project that this commission has approached is fully funded without taxes. And we have phenomenal rising residential values, which more than anything else in our community drives household wealth. We've done that because we have also executed on something for the first time ever. We have a 25-year investment plan that gives us clear-cut choices about what we spend our resources on. And that's what politics is all about. We have discussion about what the needs are, but without the resources, it doesn't amount to anything. So we now have a framework to really use to look at those choices. And I think Betsy mentioned the effort, the Prosperity Project. You know, what this Prosperity Project will do is it will highlight some of those discussions. Where do we want to use those resources? What are we missing? And how can we be a better community? So I'm actually thrilled and excited to see that Prosperity Project come. There's a great saying that I'm fond of. I want to get it right. It says, freedom is hammered out on the anvil of discussion, dissent, and debate, by Hubert Humphrey. I think if you've witnessed a commission meeting or two, you'll know that we're exercising a whole lot of freedom. And so we're very proud to welcome more of those opportunities to establish our freedom. You go to the next slide. This commission stepped forward with very strong support for our commercial and retailers. We tripled the amount of money we spent on our holiday events and our holiday decorations. And for those of you that are on Park Avenue or Orange Avenue or Morse Boulevard, you will have seen more decorations than you've seen in many, many years. But we thought that that was important. You know, coming out of a really challenging time, let's go out and celebrate. Let's make sure that the community sparkles, and I think we did a good job there. We've mentioned how our occupancy rates, a strong indicator of economic health, has occurred. We are higher occupancies now in office, in all retail, and in Park Avenue. We also made sure that in spite of recession-driven donor shortfalls, we made sure that our library was fully funded by allocating about $1.8 million of American Recovery Act funds for the successful grand opening of one of our biggest assets, the library. And we are thrilled that they have launched. They are setting a new standard for the community, for our kids, and for the next generation. And we allocated $1.5 million to our nonprofit world. Again, struck by donor shortfalls during the recession, this was a place that we really needed to put our money. The last bit is we filter everything through what is the resident looking for? What are those that have made Winter Park great? And this is actually a slide from the 2016 visioning exercise where hundreds of residents and business enterprise were asked, what do they value in Winter Park? And you can see here the highlights. You know, these are word clouds, and so the biggest letters are the things that are most important or that occurred, that were mentioned most frequently. And you'll see history and heritage, small town feel, and proactive growth. By filtering all of our decisions along these categories, I believe that we are doing the will of the people. If you go to the next slide, please, the priorities that we've been focused on are our children and our parks. Thanks to my fellow commissioners, we made sure that all of our playing fields for our kids will be renovated by the end of this year. So instead of stretching it out over 10 years, we found a way to do it now. We're focused on traffic and safety and connectivity. You know, when I look at the safety, we've clearly allocated a great public parking area off Orange Avenue, not on Orange Avenue, but off. So now people can get out without worrying about their doors getting hit. But that's what cities do. Cities give the infrastructure for enterprise and for their residents. I will also mention that that is also the home place of our first urban park. And last week I was asked, Phil, what is the best part about being a mayor? And I had 2 or 3 answers. There's a dozen on the other side, but the 2 or 3 best parts. And to date, the best part has been going to Progress Point, watching 7 live oak trees go in the dirt, knowing that those trees will be there for 200 years. That is more permanent than anything else we could ever achieve. Every building around us is going to come down before those trees are there. And the next part was the best emergency response in the region. And finally, small town feel. What do we need to do to make sure that we preserve that small town feel for our existing residents and for our children? So that's really the way I view the strengths of the city. We've been out there. We are financially strong. We are working with our business community and promoting commerce. And we're doing the will of the people. And frankly, we're open to a lot of discussion, debate, and dissent. And we do it, I think, in a civil way. It takes us a few hours, but we do it in a civil way. And with that, what I'd like to do at this moment is highlight that word cloud one more time. When I look at this, the most frequently responded item is the history and heritage of our community. And so when I was asked to name the Mayor's Founders Award, knowing that this was the biggest response, there was only one person that came to mind, actually 2 people. Jack and his wife, Jack and Peggy Rogers. So, this year, the Mayor's Founders Award is going to honor someone that has lived his entire life here in Winter Park, Mr. Jack Rogers, and in appreciation for your leadership in modeling Winter Park's core values as the city of homes, culture, and heritage. I switch things around a little bit, but that's where we are. I want to recognize Jack. So Jack, if you could join me up here. And actually, just so I'm going to say a few words about Jack. Here we go. Yeah, it's a roast. So Jack, go to the next slide. Jack is a 3rd-generation architect. His grandfather, his great-uncle, his father, Jack, and a brother. He has been part of a prominent architectural family for almost 100 years. Jack's great-uncle designed the Yale Club in New York City. So if any of y'all are Ivy Leaguers, whether you went to Yale or not, you know what to be jealous of. It followed by Gamble Rogers II, coming down here to Winter Park and building such fantastic places as Casa Feliz. And then it continued with Jack's leadership of his firm, Rogers, Lovelock, and Fritz. And you'll see on the bottom right, this is one of my favorite office buildings on Morse Boulevard that really fits well. He's a lifetime resident of Winter Park. He and his wife of 48 years have 3 children, John, Betsy, and Jeffrey, and 5 grandchildren. They led the preservation effort for Casa Feliz, and in 2006, Jack was recognized by the Florida Trust for Historic Preservation for significant achievement in the preservation of Florida's rich heritage. He's widely respected for his work with the American Institute of Architects, the Central Florida Builders Exchange, and his architectural firm of 28 years, RLF. Jack and his wife have had a rich connection with the community with their work and their support of the Cornell Fine Arts Museum at Rollins College, the Winter Park Library, the Council of 101, the Women's Club of Winter Park, All Saints Church, the Winter Park Land Trust, Florida Hospital, and the Hospice of Central Florida. His recreational interests we won't go into, but I did learn they include boat building. So ask Jack about boat building. I'm going to stop there. There's so much to say about this family with such deep roots in Winter Park, but I cannot think of any one person or any family being more symbolic of the key core value of Winter Park. So with that, Jack, I'd like to present you, thank you very much, and I'd like to present you with the Founders Day Award. It's heavy. I thought we were getting a wood base, and we got a marble base. But it's heavy. But Jack, on behalf of my office, on behalf of the mayor, and frankly the rest of the community, we want to thank you. This is an original vessel. It's not a bowl, it's a vessel. Crafted by Toby McGee, who was here during the Winter Park Art Festival many, many years ago. The title of the piece is Landscape with a Lake, which is perfect for your view on Lake Osceola. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Great. And with that, thank you so much for the opportunity to serve. And Michelle.
Thank you, Mayor Anderson, and congratulations, Mr. Rogers. Thank you all for being here today. And again, I want to thank our sponsors and partners who make this possible. Our presenting sponsor, Advent Health, our supporting sponsors, Lowndes Law, MSL CPA and Advisors, the Mayflower at Winter Park, our presenting sponsor, Valencia College. Thank you to our in-kind sponsors, Angela Katzer Events, Arthur's Catering, Jen Adams Photography, and Office Depot. Have a great day.